sometimes people forget what search engines are here for.
It's also not sexy. Like a technical SEO is not. It's not like a new thing.
Still sounds cooler than Geo.
Yeah. Or or like AEO, whatever.
AIO, LLM, SEO. What's the name again?
I don't want to jump into like AI train.
Waiting for the but. I was like, but.
Every single project literally has the same issue. Can you hear my washing machine going crazy?
Hey y'all, I'm Samy with the Collaborator Podcast, distribution PR marketplace, connecting advertisers and publishers. And today I'm receiving Patryk Wawok, technical SEO legend and co-founder of Organic Hackers, who recently doubled the client's traffic by doing something most SEOs would consider quite terrifying. He aggressively removed more than 300,000 pages from Google's database. So while everyone is chasing AI trends and talking about content at scale and how to create more content, Patryk is over here proving that less can be actually more. So we'll dig into that story, talk about why tech SEO is so undervalued right now, and also pick his brain about some JavaScript issues I'm currently having. Welcome, Patryk. So great to have you.
Hey Samy, nice to be here. Like it's good to talk to you. Like every time we talk, pretty much.
yeah. Last time I was having salmonella with my chickens. I remember it's been a while since we chatted before this chat. So okay, let's start with your origin story quickly. So you worked at One Lead and Web Certain. Then you were a consultant, super active on LinkedIn for a while. Now a bit less active. Like I'm also guilty of this.
Yeah.
And then you created Organic Hackers with Jairo.
Yes.
So can I ask you what made you leave the agency world and want to build your own thing?
I really enjoyed my time at both agencies. It was really great experience and I learned a lot. But especially since, will I demonetize the video if I say COVID or pandemic? Ever since COVID, when I started working remotely, mostly for like 6 years now, I found that like the rules within agency, like organizational wise, with the set time, like hours and all that, it's not for me. So I had to create my own processes and I was more built for that. So pretty much right away this time I also started having like some of my side projects and I started enjoying them way more, and it scaled up to where I'm here now. So mostly because I wanted to have something on my own, being more independent and like work on my own schedule pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I love having my own time, and client calls are a bit of a pain sometimes. So
Yeah.
you created that with Organic Hackers with Jairo. How did you guys meet, and how did this happen? Like also happen organically, just posting on LinkedIn and chatting?
Yeah, we actually, I think we've never even talked. Like I think right at the same, I think the same day when I like posted about going for freelancing full time, and I think early 2024. That's when I think the next day or the same day, Hire reached out to me that he's looking for if we want to work together. And I think we just, I don't know, sometimes commented on each other's posts. And because back in 2023, 2024, the landscape was a bit smaller, so there were less people, even less people talking about the SEO on LinkedIn. So we never even met in like on like an online coffee or anything. So he just reached out. We talked for a bit. I think in like, I don't know, 2 months later we started having some projects together, and yeah, it's been a year and a half since then, or like almost 2 years. And officially we started Organic Hackers last year. So we are already working since 2024, and officially the brand launched in January 25.
That sounds like a super smooth experience. Reached out, started working together, everything went super well. Sometimes it happens, you just have I assume that you guys have complementary skills, and it allows you really to work super well together.
Yeah, like I need to say, like, Jairo is most likely the more handsome one from us, from both of us. He's also the smarter one. Yeah, I think because I focus a lot on technical, as you know, like technical SEO. Jairo is very like strategic and very well spoken, I would say. and he, like, I think we complement each other very. I really enjoyed that, and it took us a bit to like not be so rough around the edges and to smooth out the processes, and we are still improving stuff. And like comparing 2025 to 2024, we already did better, but still we have so many ideas and so little time, and yeah, we want to grow it and see how far it goes.
I'm sure you're gonna go super far. Both of you guys are so good. High rose content on LinkedIn is like amazing. Like even the animation, the design of it, everything is just so like perfect.
Yeah.
It really like it seems that he's putting lots of time and attention into his content. So you guys' work must be really excellent. And so you guys focus specifically on e-commerce, and you on e-commerce tech SEO. So I'm wondering if niching down so much has it worked well for you, or is it something that you've done bit by bit? Were you always like so niche down?
Not always, like, because especially me, when I come from agency life, I worked with,
Yeah.
because that's what agency projects are like. Like you don't control who you work with. So I worked with Fortune 100, 500. I worked with banks from Iceland. I work with, I know, some shady gambling sites probably also. I worked with, what else? Some interesting stuff. Yeah, but we niche down for e-commerce and also mostly for technical SEO, because that's where we saw like the best results when we worked together. Because we in 2024 we worked on some e-commerce, some SaaS projects, some some other projects, but we found that with technical SEO, especially, the best results we get from e-commerce, like with technical SEO. That's why we did that, and that's why we have some clients, like, and I think all of them are e-commerce right now. Like, of course, if you're not an e-commerce, okay, you can also reach out to us, because yeah, of course, we can figure it out. I work with everybody literally, but yeah, that's why we do mostly e-commerce.
That makes sense. I mean, for technical SEO, our large e-commerce website gonna have like tons of things you can work on, and
Yeah.
to be able to impact the revenue quickly and being able to show results. I think it's a great ICP for you guys.
Yes.
Okay. So right now, I feel like, and you mentioned that in our call, like pre-recording call, that people don't really care about technical SEO so much right now, and everybody is talking about AI, LLMs, and all of the things. And why do you think technical SEO has become so undervalued?
I would say because many brands are taking technical SEO for granted, and many sites just think that if they use a CMS, or if they use like uh, well-known CMS, that's enough in terms of technical SEO. And they just don't care about it, and they just, it's like super, it's also not sexy. Like a technical SEO is not, it's not like a new thing. It's like literally like the laid down bricks for foundation. And it's not like super hot like AI and like citations or whatever, and what people are talking about now. And yeah, I still think it's undervalued, but in many cases we saw, and we got like the best results with technical SEO, like even the simple fixes. And it's like super, how to say it, super rewarding for us to be able to like combine our technical knowledge with marketing, with business, and bring stuff that actually moves the needle, because we know that a lot of SEO projects and a lot of work can be just wasted or not suitable for especially long term. So we have, I don't know, like I think in 2024, 25, there were like huge explosion of AI content, AI written content, and okay, brought you, I don't know, 10,000 clicks, and then after one Google update, it dropped down back to zero, and you won't recover from that, if maybe later when you migrate to a different domain or whatever. But with technical SEO, you literally make the site better. You make, and I would even say, the internet better, because you, and like stuff like optimizing, like the server usage, crawling, indexation, like there are cases where at the scale you can even talk about improving, like from the ecologic standpoint. So you literally help environment to not waste like electrical resources and all that. So I enjoy it because it's literally making internet a better place, as many SEOs are trying to do.
A great answer. I mean, sorry if I'm laughing. It's because of the Silicon Valley show. We're making the world a better place. I don't know if you've seen, but it's making fun of the startup culture. It's really good. And I kind of resonated a lot with what you said about like companies thinking, yeah, we're doing tech SEO. We have this CMS. We have a dev. I'm like, yeah, but that's not enough. Having a dev like doing your SEO is usually not a good solution. It's great to implement, but you usually need someone here like at a higher level auditing and guiding the devs, especially into prioritizing the tasks, right? Because you can receive an audit with like, I don't know, 100 things to fix, but what is going to actually move the needle, as you said, and try and generate higher revenue for the client the fastest way, instead of just like, I don't know, improving DR or random vanity metrics that are not going to bring any revenue to your business.
Yeah, that's why we also don't do audits. We don't, like, with technical SEO, many agencies are literally focused on like audits, delivering, like, as you said, 100 pages, 200 pages. I myself, I'm guilty of writing such audits in like agency life, and some of them like were, I don't know, 180 pages or whatever, but they're just not worth it, because as you said, like if imagine you're a developer that is like getting this document, and okay, who will read that? Nobody. And we usually tend to work on retainers, just as you just add us to your team, to your Jira, to your Trello, whatever you use for project management, and we just create a section for SEO and start working directly with your developers, and just month by month pilling out the most important stuff, and just going step by step, and it seems to be working the best for our clients.
Yeah, I love that. You have no idea how many clients came in the past few years to me with a like 100-page, 200 pages audit, meaning like, what do we do? Like, you paid 20 grand for this and now it's not even actionable. What's the point? Like, you can just work maybe on 2 to 3 items, let's say speed, crawling, indexing, and like for half the cost, and at least you be sure that you're getting some real results.
Yes, exactly.
So you mentioned something about your pricing, and I mean, you work with retainers, and also like as tech SEO being so undervalued. I'm wondering basically, how do you sell it? Is it harder to sell right now, or because of your case studies and because of who you're targeting, they still realize that it's super important and it's not that hard to sell?
I think like for us, it's not that hard to sell because we can easily connect technical SEO to revenue. Because with like when we talk about indexation and we see, for example, that, I don't know, 5% of the site is indexed, and I worked with like Fortune 100 company that had, I think, 40 million pages in the on the website, but only around, I think, 1 million was indexed.
Oh,
so so like 2% of the website or something like that, 2.5%. And like Google was crawling like 10,000 pages per day. And when we and also the website was very dependent on like traffic coming to product pages, because they had very popular like product IDs and people looking for like replacement parts and stuff like that. So when we talked to them and connected this indexation problem with the revenue, that okay, you literally most likely are making 2% of your product database through SEO. We managed to, of course, like work with them for like years and years on like improving crawling, indexation, everything in between. And I think we went up from 1 million pages to almost 10 million pages after I stopped working with the agency. So in like 2 years, I think we indexed almost 10 million pages, and I think the traffic doubled 2 years in a row. So it doubled one time and doubled again.
Solid.
And we are talking about like not like going from 10 clicks to 20 clicks, but going about, I think, from 2,000 to 4,000 to 8,000, or like even more, like 3, 6, 12, something like that. So it went exponentially, and we usually tend to do something similar for like leads or clients coming to us, trying to connect technical SEO and understanding, like being able to explain the value of technical SEO through revenue. And with stuff like indexation or even site speed, because site speed is also very highly connected to conversion rates, it's very
Yeah.
very easy to showcase that and also visualize it. And mm, and if we have the skill of being able to translate those technical things um, into money, pretty much into revenue, into something that business cares about, then it's way easier, and it's a great skill to have.
Cool. I like the fact that, starting with things that are really, first, of course, tied to revenue, obviously, but also that they can understand and visualize easily, like speed. It's easy to grasp the concept of speed, improving speed, and
Yeah.
also for improving conversion. And then bit by bit, maybe going into more complex topics. That makes sense. So when we chatted before, you mentioned a nice case study that you did, removing, I think, 350,000 pages from a Google database,
Yes.
and the traffic doubled for one of your e-com client. Can you walk me through a little bit to tell me what happened, the results, and also what made you think we need to remove those pages?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, like we removed 300,000 pages from Google database, and when I was checking the like the crawl stats report or the Google's overall Google Search Console reports, I saw that the site had, I think, around 150,000 pages indexed and around almost a million pages like excluded from the index. So we saw that Google pretty much found 10 times as many pages that were not worth indexing versus they were the ones that were worth indexing. And I also crawled the website and I found that the website itself had like 200,000 pages. Okay, so I had the knowledge that, okay, Google for some reason found like 5 times the number of pages, like 6 times the number of pages. So I started diving into it, what was causing those like URLs being created, and we literally did one fix for now, and literally, I don't know, an hour before this podcast started recording, I got information about the next two fixes. So for now, just one is implemented. Mm, the one thing I found is uh, it is a Shopify store, and they use product variants. So they have like separate URLs for product, like different variants of a product.
Yeah.
The fact is that they were using those variant URLs with the variant parameter, I think in schema or in some older implementation of the in the website. So those URLs were, there were so many URLs like that in Google database. But when I talked to them and I checked the crawl and I checked the site, they didn't have, like they weren't using the product variants on the website itself. So it looked like they pretty much for every single product they had a variant duplicate with the variant parameter, which was only one variant per product. So literally every single product had its duplicate with the parameter, and it was like just that was like 200,000 pages if you have 200,000 products.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah, that doubled
200,000
it.
duplicates. Plus, they had, I think, in some product feeds in Google Ads and in Merchant Center, they were using those parameters as well, with also other parameters, which are again another duplicate. So we already had hundreds of thousands of those duplicates. So what we did was just to clear product feeds and clear schema and clear the internal linking. If there, I think the internal linking wasn't, uh, we didn't have to clear that, but that much, mostly schema and product feeds. So we only used like indexable URLs without parameters there, and we blocked the variant parameter in robots.txt. And I was I was even me, I was surprised that Google started removing, like right away, it started removing those pages from database. It went down from 950,000, I believe, to 600,000 now. So we removed literally like 25% of pages from Google database in like 2 months, less than 2 months, and we are doing more now.
You used the robots.txt to disallow. You didn't use any no index tag on the pages itself. First, I'm wondering, and also other thing I was wondering when you were talking, were the canonicals set for those
Yes,
duplicate pages? Were they self-preferencing, or they were pointing to the original product?
they were pointing to the original product, and they were respected by Google. That's why those pages were already
Okay,
not indexed, which was good for us.
all right,
And they
yeah,
had proper index pages somewhere in the structure, so it was fine. That's why we decided to just block it, because we didn't have to no index it.
that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I got you. All right,
Yeah,
okay, okay, you get that
so
easily.
it went very very quickly, and like the goal like of this is to move the crawl budget towards valuable pages and indexable pages, and that's like from my perspective. I might go on a slight tangent now. Like with technical SEO, I think technical SEO is focused a lot on money, and not from the site perspective, but from Google perspective and search engine perspective.
Yes, yes,
Because when we think about it, search engines need to spend resources. They need to spend like server time to crawl, index pages, and
to
when we're talking
render,
about
yeah,
to render them, to understand content, and all of this costs like money. Like every single page like costs money. So when your website has like 200,000 pages that are valuable, but then you have a million pages somewhere, or like older pages or whatever, that are still in Google database that are not worth indexing, then
hmm,
why Google should care? Like this is like from this is just my theory from my
that makes
head.
sense.
It's like that Google might see this as a lower quality signal for your site if you have such a bloat, not in the index
Yeah,
itself, but in the Google database. That's why I'm separating those two things. I'm separating
yeah,
index from Google database. So when you clear the Google database and have mostly valuable pages, but like have Google crawl only valuable pages, that's a huge quality indicator, and you literally are saving Google like other search engines too. Like you save them money. You save like you make them visit only valuable pages, and over time, I saw it time and time again. Like search engines reward this, make you like rank better. They make you like crawl you better. Like that's why you also when you focus on like site speed and improving server performance, they don't need to wait. They don't need to
yeah.
when you implement server-side rendering. They don't need to render the pages. They are cheaper. That the keyword is cheaper to get, and I think that there is a patented is that the word in English? There is
Mhm.
in a patent for something called cost of retrieval in Google. So they literally care about how much retrieving information from a page costs them. So the simpler, the cheaper the page is, both from technical standpoint, so rendering, crawling, indexation, and from content standpoint. So I don't know if you have a shit ton of fluff. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but
Oh, you can, you can. Yeah, you
okay,
can be authentic. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
hate fluff and I hate a shit ton of fluff. So we remove that shit usually.
yeah. So if you have like the simplest content, it's doing way better usually, and sometimes it's hard for me to like find the healthy balance between like writing for users and writing super simple in a super simple way, but it seems to be working very well. So with this project we removed literally 25% of the Google database, and Google decided, okay, that's why it's a good quality indicator, and we doubled the traffic pretty much in 2 months. We started working in a couple of months back, yeah. So we
Oh,
doubled for
they must love you right now.
yeah, we I think, and also again, we are not talking about like I don't know going from 10 to 20 clicks, but I think from like 1,000 to 2,000 now, and maybe further. We'll see how it goes next couple of months, because we have still a lot of work to do. But I'm really happy with this project and the fact that it worked so well.
Awesome. Just to come back to what you said, about the resources and I feel like sometimes people forget what search engines are here for and what Google is here for. And Mark Williams Cook phrased it so perfectly in a conference last year. I forgot the exact terms, but you're like, Google, they want to provide you with good results while making an insane amount of money. That's their goal, and it's to remunerate, it's to give money to their shareholders. So when they push for you to have a faster website, it's because for them it's much easier to in terms of resources, it's much cheaper. Same for the index of your database of how many pages you have on your website. Sorry. Again, if you remove everything that's fluffy and just keep the most valuable pages, they're gonna also reward you because they have to spend less time on that. And it's the same again for the content itself for a single page. If you remove the fluff, it's also easier for them to retrieve the meaningful information. And also when you front load the main information, when it's not hidden at the bottom, it's also something from my own experience that brings good results.
I saw the same thing. Like also, I don't want to jump into like AI train but the simpler content also seems to be working better in AI. So I had
because
like,
most of the AI content is so full of fluff. Like, let's be
yeah,
honest, it's like super complex, but it's like words to say nothing. So at
yeah,
the end of the day, when you have different content that's really like just keeping the essence of your message and what's valuable, it's first it's different, and second it's so much easier to retrieve the main
yeah,
information in your content.
yeah. That's why, like, I remember when I was first starting doing SEO, and we are all like focused on like learning about like H1 headings, H2 like content structure, and then when I was like doing SEO, I had this bell curve that you think you know everything, then you know nothing, then you
That's
know nothing, and then everything like whatever. So I ignored like I didn't focus on content structure at all because I was focused on technical stuff. And now I know that again I know nothing, but I focus again on content structure, and it seems to be mattering more and more, and seems to be working very well if you use it smart.
it's a very good sign usually when I think you mentioned you're doing Kruger effect, but when you realize again that you know nothing, like it
Yes.
usually means that you have acquired a fair amount of experience, and because you have like the humility to understand, okay, maybe I don't know so much actually, and when you start, you're like, oh yeah, I've learned those tags. I'm sure I know SEO. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're right. It's doing Kruger effect. The bell curve is like this, the one that goes in the middle. Yeah.
I'm curious, like because like the example we talked about are mostly like very huge websites. Do you have like similar examples of work on smaller website? I don't know, let's say 10K pages, 20K pages of doing
Mhm.
similar work and having also similar results, or
Mhm.
those kind of results only happen when you have like huge website to work on?
I know like the best results usually happen like the larger the site is, the more important technical SEO is,
Yeah,
and it's just proven case. But the fact that you have, I don't know, 200 pages doesn't mean your technical SEO is broken, and it's not broken. Sorry, I remember I think back in when I was working at the agency, we had a client coming to us, and they were selling like tapes or like some visibility trackers or like physical, so you like attach it to your clothing or packages or whatever. And I remember crawling the site, and I think there were only like 200 pages. I was like, okay, super simple, nothing that important. I opened Google Search Console, and they had 300,000 pages in Google database, and 200 index, only 200 index. So for some reason, Google
oh,
found like 300,000 pages on the website. And when I dove into it, they had, I think, the entire filtering crawlable, indexable. So they like Google was able to crawl every single filter combination.
all
And
the
then,
combinations. Yeah.
yes, I don't remember if I calculated it, but it was like hundreds of thousands. And we are talking only about like, I don't know, 150 products or 200 products that they had. And I don't know, they gathering like, I don't know, 20 clicks because of that. And I don't know if they ever fixed it, but that was the case of like a very small website, like from like user perspective and from the website owner perspective, because we only have 100 products or we only have 200 products.
Yeah.
But technical SEO made this a huge website, and it made it a way larger scale than you even think about. And many of those websites don't even have search console. Like business owners that just don't care about it, and they just don't add it, so they don't even know that Google can like find all those pages. If there is a threshold, like as you asked, if there is a threshold for technical SEO, I would say no, because I think the larger the site, of course, the technical SEO becomes more important and also more complex. So with the smaller site, we usually like the products can be a bit smaller, but you also care about crawling, indexing, of course, site speed, because
Yeah.
uh, structured data, all of this doesn't rely on the size of the site, but usually it's a bit simpler.
That makes sense. I mean, having a higher impact. This is why also like working on large e-com makes more sense for you. So you can show like
Yeah,
faster results and also impacting revenue quite quick.
yeah,
Next, I would like to ask you a couple of quick questions about JavaScript. So
yeah.
I had lots of questions, but I'm only going to ask a couple. I actually started working on a project recently using Angular JS.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering in terms of rendering issues that you've encountered working on JS sites,
Mhm.
and if you have any best practices to follow to avoid those rendering issues, if you use the native solution, if you use some other tools like on a pre-render, or what usually your approach is. It like something that depends on each project, or do you have best practices that you can kind of share with us for JavaScript projects?
Yeah, with JavaScript projects, like I think the best practices are the same. If there is like a bracket that you can just say that you want to help Google find crucial content and crucial stuff as easy as possible. So you want to most likely render it on the server side, like render the crucial content, the internal links, canonicals, on page elements, on page titles, meta descriptions, canonicals, in the robot index, all of that is would be the best to render it on the server side and just give Google the HTML with this with all this information. But the how you implement it, how you do it, it's really case by case. So because every single project is different, every single like you can have a CMS, you can have a custom solution, you can have like different frameworks. So you can have React, you can have Vue, you can have
Yeah.
Angular, and you can move from one to another. So it's very different, and it really depends on like the tech stack that you are using. But the overall, like the morning star that you can use for that is to just remember to render the most important content and most important stuff on the server and for Google. That would be the best way to do it. The best like one advice that I could give.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like one issue I see a lot usually, it's they render those important tags like canonical and all of that after the initial load with JavaScript, and this causes lots of issues.
Yeah.
And just that usually, like following these practices, already solves a fair amount of issues.
Mhm.
I remember when I was at KuCoin, big crypto exchange a few years ago, we were experimenting with SSG, static
Mhm.
site generation,
Yeah.
and that ended up creating more problems for us than actually like solving issues initially.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with that? Is there anything you can share about SSG?
On
When
what
does that
page?
make sense? When does that
On,
make sense?
on what pages did you tested it?
The price pages for the crypto tokens.
Yeah, that's why I
And I'm
think it
not sure if they
was.
did that for the trading pages too.
Yeah, but that's why I think it was problematic because
Yes,
SSG.
because it needs
Yes,
to
it
change,
needs to
right? And to be updated. And when you have content that gets updated, that doesn't make sense in right?
yeah, yeah, and with crypto you usually what change prices every 2 seconds or whatever
Yeah.
on the page. Some pages are like very dynamic, and like as you mentioned, like SSG is pretty good for like static pages. If you have like a block section, if you don't update the content as dynamically, you don't load like I don't know some stuff in a dynamic way. For like more dynamic stuff. So many e-commerces are a bit more dynamic, like I don't know real estate websites, crypto stuff. If you have a lot of dynamic elements that need to be loaded and updated, I think SSR would be better. So server-side rendering, because you load like you render entire HTML with the fresh data on the server and then send that to the user. But remember that the landscape of rendering and frameworks is always changing. And I think just in October, so I think like 3 months ago, in React or like Next.js, they introduced something called PPR, which is partial pre-rendering. and
Never heard about it.
it literally combines both, because with SSR you need to wait for the entire HTML to be built, and then it's being sent to the user. With PPR, or partial pre-rendering, it sends to the user like the shell of the page with the crucial content right away. So you can, like, the static stuff, the like the page title, all of this can be sent down to the user instantly because it's quick. And the dynamic are sent later with, like, if you have like dynamic charts or whatever. So there are options for like delivering those things, like both static and dynamic, like separately and like different times for like better performance. That would be, I think, the next
Yeah.
big thing, if more frameworks are introducing that, and many new sites will be doing it this way. So SSR might be on its way out, and PPR, which doesn't sound as cool because it might be the new thing.
Still sounds cooler than Geo.
Yeah. Or EO, or like AEO, whatever. I don't know.
AIO, LLM, SEO. What's the name again? I forgot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. So next, I would like to ask you a bit more about Shopify. I know you have lots of experience on Shopify projects, and I'm wondering, like, the issues. I haven't worked on Shopify in a while, but I remember always finding the same issues in a template, the same issue. It was really like recurring the same problems. Is it still the same? What do you think about Shopify as an overall e-commerce CMS?
I think it's like from the business standpoint and from like user experience, it's fine. It has a lot of things done well, for sure, in terms of like how to manage products, how to manage the business. But
Waiting for the but. I was like, but.
but still, from the technical SEO standpoint, there are so many stuff that are bad, that could be done better. And as you mentioned, every single project literally has the same issue. Like the issue I talked about with the variants, I have the same issue on other websites, and we maybe at the smaller scale, but we also were fixing them. The stuff with other like parameters that they add with like internal linking, that is not great for technical SEO, and it bloats the Google database. Every single website has the same issue with the fact that they don't manage. I think still there are no great way, like native way in Shopify, to do wildcard redirects. So you have to have a full list of URLs to redirect them, and it can be tricky to gather that. Shopify seems to be like the best from the worst. So like a lot of CMSs are a lot of other CMSs are even more shit than Shopify, and Shopify is doing well. Like for example, the web performance on Shopify is pretty fine. Like a lot of Shopify stores are super fast, but it's not perfect, and many things are literally the same. And maybe if somebody from Shopify is watching this, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to work on this, like help you make it better. Because I know, when I was working at the agency, we worked with another CMS, which was also, I cannot tell you which one because I don't think it was ever publicly stated, but it was a huge, I think, Fortune 100 company from the US that had an e-commerce CMS also in their product.
Salesforce Commerce Cloud.
No.
No, damn! I was working on SFCC. Like, this was so crazy, is what I was saying. Like, always the same error, always the same thing. And I was like, okay, at least after 3 or 4 projects, I knew I had my checklist. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have the same issue here.
Yeah.
It was a bit boring, but since it was on CMS for 8 figures, e-com on 9 figures, the impact on revenue was so high that I wouldn't get bored.
Yeah. So there are agencies and there are ways to optimize like the entire CMS platform, not only a particular project, but yeah, if you optimize the entire platform, then you optimize like thousands of websites at the same time, literally. Which we did that like years ago for one project, but yeah, those things move like pretty slowly. But I agree, many things are the same on every Shopify store. the same issues, the same stuff, and fixing them as like for example, the product variants, as I mentioned. Like this is one of the default issues that happen on every single Shopify store. If you don't use product variants, they can still bloat your Google database if you, I don't know, misuse it. This can happen to you if you have a Shopify store.
Now, if we can talk quickly about technical SEO for LLMs, because it's such a hot topic. First, I made you a favor. I didn't say Geo. I just said LLM. So everyone's talking about optimizing for GPT, Perplexity, etc. So from a technical perspective, what do you think actually matters for those LLM crawlers, considering they also, not the same. They don't have the same capabilities as search engines, especially for rendering, etc. So, what do you think is really important, and what else is kind of noise?
I would say three things mostly. So, crawling, indexing, and rendering. Maybe crawling and indexing I can put in one place, because at the end of the day, similarly to search engines, LLMs need to find your pages and find your content. So, if you have again the same bloating issues that Google struggles with, LLMs can also struggle with them. So if they cannot find your content, find your products, and do all of this, then they will just won't appear in LLMs. That's it. The second thing is rendering. As you mentioned, they currently, as we know, I think ChatGPT and which one was it? Claude, I think. And what's the one starting with A? Chat, not Angular, not Anthropic. I think is it Anthropic?
Anthropic, explode. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'm talking about Claude again. I think they don't render JavaScript, and they were like tests from some software development house that did a case study on that. So they don't render JavaScript. So again, if you render your crucial content with JavaScript, I don't know, your prices, your content descriptions, product descriptions, your links, LLMs won't find them and won't use them in their answers or anything. So yeah, make sure to render those things on the server side and like put them in a HTML, static HTML.
So yeah, basically, just like take SEO foundation and best practices and like.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I think that the one more thing that I think it's still to be discussed or to be analyzed, because I saw like contradicting opinions about that, is structured data and schema. Some people are talking about like, okay, it's simple, and so LLMs can like have easier time with getting this data from your website, and some people are talking about it. They don't use it because it's just another touch point or like just another data point that it can use. It's nothing special. So yeah, it's still to be analyzed. But again, if we talk about money, if we talk about like how they spend resources, like JSON data is super simple to parse and super simple to get. So maybe I'm not saying it impacts hugely, but I think we'll see, especially when I think how is it called, like UCP was announced recently. So there's universal how was it called, UCP protocol, Universal Commerce Protocol. So, so like they prepare for some agentic web, and agents being able to like find products, buy products on their own, and stuff like that. Google announced that recently, and maybe those things will matter more in the future. But for now, I think it's safe to say that we don't fully know how much structured data impacts LLMs, but I think it's better to have them than not have them.
Yeah, so structured data is just so important overall for your SEO that I feel like it's something that needs to be happening anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the impact. To be honest, I haven't studied that. I haven't run tests. I've heard also both of your opinions. I remember seeing a post from Mark Williams Cook showing how the structured data was also tokenized in a way that maybe was not easy to understand for the LLM. So for now, I don't really have an opinion on this. Maybe I have more of an opinion on the LLM.txt BS I've been hearing more than the schema.
Yeah.
But schema is always good for your regular SEO, especially if you're running an e-com. to be able to describe your product in a great way. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be something I would be fighting on. I usually try to implement schemas and as
Yeah.
soon as possible with as much detail as possible.
Yeah. And also, like, you can see like what are the, like, what's the word, like origin trials that Chrome is running or Google is running in Google, or what type of structured data they introduce to the website. So, and based on that, you can maybe think about how, like, in which way Google will try to push structured data. Of course, they are testing, they are removing attributes, like always changing. But right now they focus a lot on commerce, so a lot of on products. I think just recently they added new structured data for, like, return policies, for loyalty programs, for shipping. Um, I think there's a huge impact right now on not impact, but a huge focus on Merchant Center. So I think they just recently started to having, like, dedicated widgets for if you have high quality store based on data from Merchant Center in terms of, like, site speed, I don't know, images, return policies, shipping. If you they count all of this, like, they take all of this data into account, and it can maybe also later impact your performance and, like, shopping results. Maybe when, I don't know, Google creates its own Amazon or whatever for, like, those UCP protocols, uh, using data from Merchant Center, this again will matter a lot. So you can see that this, like, in which way it can go it can go in the future.
Awesome. Thanks. We're reaching the last part of the show. One of my favorite is the rapid fire section. When I ask you questions and you don't have, you're welcome to answer them quickly. No need to elaborate as much unless you want. So first, in terms of crawl budget, when does it become important to consider? Like, is there like a threshold in terms of URLs or size of a website? Like, you think before that, it's like quite irrelevant to even talk about it?
Especially the budget part. I think, of course, the larger the site, the more important it is, because you want Google to spend time on your most important pages. But as I mentioned earlier, you can have the smallest site, or, like, you can think you have the smallest site ever, but Google can find, like, I don't know, 500,000 pages on your website because of some technical issue. And it's that's why you might think you have a small site, but crawl budget also considers you, should consider you and your site.
Yeah, that's quite surprising, this example you gave. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen lots of issue with caused by faceted navigation, caused by filters, but never to that scale on a small website and realizing actually you have hundreds of thousands of pages. So yeah, that makes sense to still consider, at least have a look at what's happening in the background. Maybe it's not something that you want to have to check every day, but maybe from time to time try to understand how Google perceives your site.
Yeah, if you have 20 pages indexed and, I don't know, 10 pages excluded from, like, I don't know, cart, I don't know, some policies that you have, don't bother. You just make sure that your most important pages are indexed and crawled.
Do you have any tips to get started to go a bit deeper with log file analysis? Is it something that you usually do yourself?
Yes, I do that. I don't use any, like, specialized tools for log analysis. I just use something called KNIME, which is spelled KNIME, which is like an open source data analysis tool for, I don't know, like, large data sets. And I plug the log files into there and just, I don't know, go use some filters and analyze them this way. I don't use any I know there's, like, a Screaming Frog log analyzer that you can use, but I tend to, like, go into raw files and just watch through them. And what's important in terms of log analysis and log files, the same importance. Like, remember that the fact what you see in log files is as important as what you don't see in log files, because you want to remove pages, like block pages that you don't want Google to crawl, but you also want to Google to crawl your valuable pages. So if you see that for some reason, I don't know, Google doesn't crawl your products efficiently, or, like, your pagination efficiently, maybe you can improve I don't know, the indexation of pagination or the internal linking to it, and maybe do something about that. And just focus on both on what you see and what you don't see in log files.
Okay, cool. So next, what is one thing that most sites get wrong with internal linking, and it could be like specific to e-commerce if you want.
They don't do it enough. They like I still see I know e-commerces when you go to the product page, there's like I don't know no links to related products, no links to I don't know buy this for the bundle, or like the internal linking is so limited on many sites, and it's just I don't know painful to see. Like I don't know breadcrumbs are missing, internal linking are like I just add them and keep also user in mind what users might be looking for, what links, how they would like to navigate through the site.
If you could fix one SEO element on any e-commerce site, what would it be?
On any e-com site, I would say I would cheat and say two. So I would say filtering, but both in terms of blocking it and I don't know, not bloating your site and all of that, but also in terms of site structure, because many filtering options can have SEO potential, so they can lead to people are looking for I don't know laptop by a given producer or like by a given brand. So you can have a filtered collection page for Samsung laptops, and having this smart approach into filtering. So understanding which filters or which filter combination you want to index and not
Yes.
you don't want
Yeah.
to index. This is a huge deal, and I see like many like the largest brands and the ones that are doing SEO very well, they are doing that greatly. So they block usually all the filtering, and they just specify particular filters that they really want to Google to crawl, and they create, for example, a separate section for that in the internal linking. So they have you can have like a laptop listing, and at the bottom you can have some what looks like categories, but they are literally just filtered collection pages for like I don't know black laptops, Samsung laptops, laptops under 500 bucks or something like that. And people are searching for those things, but they don't search for black laptop under 400 pounds and I don't know that weighs more than 2 kilos. And if you unlock indexation and crawling of every single filtering, then those pages would be indexed.
Yeah, as long as the proper search intent behind it, you want it indexed. And yeah, the game is really to understand what you want index and what you don't want index. Actually, I was working on a similar project a few years ago where we're indexing even the references of the product because people were searching for those references. Initially, that was something that didn't make sense to me, really focus on the reference of a SKU, of a product rather than the name of a product itself.
Yeah. That's for example the Fortune 100 project that I talked to you about. Like again, people were searching for the SKU for like a replacement part for a machine.
Cool. Next, it's a question I had I thought about it because I worked on this big e-com a few years ago when I was in agency. Let's say it's the French GameStop. It's a huge e-commerce site selling video games online. And I remember they had tons of issue with the duplicate, like you said, duplicate products using variants and having a mess with a new product page per variant and like really huge mess. But my main question at that point, I arrived and all the products were at the root, of the website. There is no clustering. There is no optimizing the structure of the website, the URL with the category of the product or something like that. Everything was at root. And I was wondering really when I arrived, I'm like, should I suggest them to really rework the whole website, the whole structure, which would be going to be hundreds of thousands of redirects and all of that? How would you approach those kind of scenarios?
I would have to understand the pros and cons on why they do it this way now versus what how they would like to do it with like subfolders. If you like, because like as I'm with you on this boat, so I would like have like a proper structure also in the URL, in the internal linking, all that. And I actually had a project like that I think 3 years ago. So I still work with them, but we it was like a huge e-commerce in here in Poland, and I think they had like 500,000 products, and they did exactly that. So they had all the products on the root, and they decided to redirect it. So they wanted to add like the ID of the product in the URL and also have like the /p/ the product name. So to have like a proper subfolder for the products, and I think we just test run it and we, I think, redirected 2 categories to see if it impacts anything, and then we redirected all of it. So we redirected 500,000 products to a new URL, like with the subfolder, and to do
Yeah.
like they did that for mostly performance. It was like a custom Magento e-commerce that they built, and when they had all the products in root, they had to do like an additional step when rendering the layout to understand what type of what type of page was being requested. And with the /p, they already knew that, okay, this is a product page,
Yeah.
so we can skip this
Okay.
page, and it improved crawling and site speed very, 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 very well. So I would go with redirecting, but always keep like your hand on the pulse and always verify the redirects, verify what's going on to make sure not break anything, and to also work on like if you have previous redirects, for example. So I remember with this project they
I want the
had,
chains.
I think we did like, I don't know, 2 years earlier we did a redirect from like a trailing slash URL ending with trailing slash to non trailing slash. So then we had to fix those redirects to point directly to the /p already, so we don't have multiple redirects. So there are
Instead of having chains, yeah, that makes
so
sense.
there are multiple things to take into consideration with that, but always when doing such large changes, don't be scared. Just have everything under control. Be aware that there might be some temporary drops, but nothing permanent. I think with this client, I think we didn't see anything. I think we saw maybe like 2 days of a traffic dip for like 5%, and yeah, because it was just so smooth.
Awesome. Wow. I was not confident enough. I pitched the idea, but I was not confident enough to lead the project and to push really hard on it because of the scale of it. But what you say makes sense. And what I really appreciated too is your approach of doing it step by step. Maybe you're going to try it with a couple of categories and see how Google reacts.
Yeah.
We don't go like directly and like it's when you want to prune content. I do the same. I'm not pruning everything at the same time. I'm pruning a bit, a batch, seeing how it reacts, doing again a bit after. And I think that maybe SEOs should consider that a bit more in general. Instead of having this either white or black approach, you can actually do it step by step, test it, and then scale it if that works initially.
Yeah.
Last 2 questions. So you had clients since 2019 doing mostly technical SEO work. I'm wondering how you maintain retention without creating new content or building links. I'm just curious, on how you do it. Like after a while, I assume that you've worked on most of the tech SEO aspects, and how do you keep working with them?
Technical SEO. That's why I don't like to do audits. Like with technical SEO, and when I do projects for like years and years, the more you do technical SEO on a project, the more things you find, the more things you
Fine.
see, the more things appear, and also like things break in the meantime. So you always need to be on tip of your toes and make sure like there is nothing going on. I remember I had a case. I think actually this was my first project that I did, like back in 2017 or 18, when I was doing SEO. The first project I did was a migration of a large e-commerce selling like bathroom appliances, like baths, showers, all of that. And I think we migrated like 200,000 pages. And back in the day, I was doing like, I don't know, like manual redirect mapping sometimes. Like well, it was Stone Age compared to what we have now.
We've all
Uh,
been there.
yeah, but I remember we did the migration. It went very well. It dipped by, I don't know, the traffic dipped by 10%, but it rebounded again. But literally, I think a week after, like 2 weeks after the rebound, we saw another dip, and we said, what the heck is going on?" And we found out that the entire filtering was JavaScript, which was great, and Google didn't manage to find it. But we didn't catch that when you select filtering and you have a filter collection page on the website, I don't know if can you hear my washing machine going crazy, or I can. If not, then that's good.
Not much. No.
Okay. Um, when you select filters and when you have the filtered collection page, an option to cancel a filter was a crawlable link for some reason. And we didn't catch that before because we didn't use filtered collection pages in the internal linking much. But I think 2 weeks after the rebound, a copywriter wrote an article on blog, and they, I think, added 5 links to filtered collection pages, and each of those filtered collection pages had, I think, 45 filters applied. So again, we are talking about filter combinations. So Google was able to go through all of them, and we saw that, yeah, Google was, I think, it indexed like, I don't know, 800,000 pages from this one article, and but we caught that, fixed the issue, it rebounded, but as I mentioned, like everything, all the time something can break. And also, I was thinking the same thing, so that the technical SEO can be done in an audit. Later, I thought that technical SEO can be done in sprint, but I think the true power of technical SEO appear when you actually become partners with the client. So when you actually work with them hand in hand for like longer periods of time, and actually see the results, actually see how those things are getting fixed, and like go like together with them throughout like their business journey pretty much. Because also later when, I don't know, they think about, I don't know, expanding to another market, you need to have a proper strategy, a SEO strategy for that, with like CCTLDs, hreflangs, internal linking, all that. If they want to, I don't know, migrate, of course you need SEO, and if not, then you probably will suffer a lot. So it's good to be a real partner. As a technical SEO, it's good to be a real partner to a business, and just join their journey. And usually brands that work directly with technical SEO, they are way safer. They are way less prone to like traffic drops, and yeah, and any like safety issues. So that's always
Okay.
good to have.
Just to bounce back on what you say, like being partners and working on long term, like has this in fact affected your pricing model on how you work with your clients, the way you define contracts? There is like, I don't know, like a minimum period of engagement or.
Yeah, it impacted our pricing, like our offering. Like, so we have like different packages that we sell depending on how intensive the project will be, or like how intensive like the client wants it to be. So if they have only resources for X amount of topics or X amount of areas that we can focus on. But I think we don't have a specific time schedule, like the specific time requirements, but we always communicate it, that we like the best results we can see after like 6 months or like after a year, or like this is something that you don't do like 1 month and just finish the work, because there's usually so much to do. And yeah, like for the client that I work with for, I don't know, now 6 years, whatever, I have one client and only technical stuff. My document that I created for them has like 450 pages. I literally wrote a book for them, like, and without any images. So this is just pure text
Wow.
that I wrote just for technical SEO tasks. And yeah, so any project can be like that, and especially the larger sites.
Okay, cool. Well, to finish, like just quick question about personal branding. So you mentioned you're struggling with LinkedIn. Still, you're doing much better than me. I've been a ghost there.
Yeah.
So just curious on your personal branding strategy. Like, are you able to generate leads consistently thanks to LinkedIn, especially since you niche down so much, or are you finding clients in most of your clients in other ways?
Yeah, like a lot of clients are still coming from LinkedIn. Yeah, but we are like experimenting with other things as well, to not be as reliant on LinkedIn as we used to be, like, you know, with all the algorithm changes. And yeah, so we built a newsletter also, which is doing pretty well. We
It's
just
great. I'm subscribed to it. I'm surprised by the frequency of the newsletter, to be honest. I'm like, those guys are hustling.
yeah, we tend to do that. And yeah, we just try to provide value as much as possible and see how far it goes. And yeah, we really enjoy that. But yeah, right now, as I mentioned, like both me and Jairo, we have a brand for a year now, and still I think we are still beginning, and like building ourselves as like a technical SEO powerhouse, maybe for the future. But I really enjoy this journey, and I think we can still grow. Like we find that we have so much work to do with, like, I know, writing case studies, fixing our website, uh, doing a lot of like business stuff, like uh, and working on products that we have ideas for. It's so much to do, and to grow the business. And LinkedIn is just one of our worries that we we try to care about and try to work on. But yeah, it really helps, and especially like it's good to have people like know you, like even like
Yeah.
after physical world, not online world as we are now.
And that's Patryk Wawok. So if you made it from conversation about removing 300K plus pages, JavaScript rendering issue, and all of that without falling asleep, well, you might be officially a technical SEO person, or at least, have interest in technical SEO. And I invite you to keep looking at it and not just obsessing over AI and content at scale. So fundamentals of tech SEO like crawling, rendering, and smart pruning are still super important right now, even though everyone is talking about LLMs. So, quick question for you. I'm wondering if this talk was too advanced, was not advanced enough, or usually we don't necessarily address specific issues like that. So, for me, it was super interesting, but I want to hear your feedback on this. Also, please follow Patryk and Jairo, his co-founder, on LinkedIn, and go to the website organichackers.com. They have an amazing newsletter, and reach out to them if you need anything related to tech SEO or e-commerce SEO. And also, please like and subscribe the video, or if you're listening on Spotify, follow us for more SEO tips. We are Collaborator.pro, link building and distribution PR marketplace, connecting publisher and advertisers. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your time.